Good morning, good evening, good day, depending on your gravitation around the moon. At the top right of Yonsu Ladder Edition is going to be this guy. One Day EG, also known as BOBALIFE, our Zerg player of the day. At the bottom left is going to be L last L Anwis at the bottom left. Let's put on some super sexy music as we plummet ourselves into a new matchup today. The first of the TVZs that we will see today here. Let me, while we put on BOBALIFE cam. BOBALIFE cam. Doesn't that just have such a nice ring to it? As we put on the BOBALIFE cam, I want to see exactly where we are on the brackets. I want to be sure of it. I want to say it loud. I want to say it proud. It looks like we are, once again, on round 2. I do believe. Let me double check this to the best of my abilities. Yeah, we're on round 2. All right. Fantastic. Looking good. Oh, baby. Very fast drone scout going out here is going to be able to sweep behind. And immediately, we see this aggression going down here. Just this drone and this SCV slugging it out. That's not nice. This drone is going to see the gas. Of course, this means that we aren't going to see a command center first. Obviously, a Zerg's worst nightmare. This drone's going to go down if he's not too careful here. Now, if this drone and this SCV, if this drone just doesn't take any turns, doesn't take any angles, he's going to be fine. If he does take any angles, he's going to have a hard time getting out of the clasp of this SCV. Now, this SCV chasing this drone is going to double as a scout. Unless he decides not to. So far, we are seeing no scouts from Anwis. LLASTL. Anwis. Also, no wall-off going on over here. We'll see what Anwis wants to do as we get further and further into this game. BOBALIFE showing us that he wants that gas, he wants that pool, he wants his cake, and he wants to eat it too. As that hatchery went down extremely fast. Sovelord finding a beautiful position here. The Sovelord will not shy away anytime soon. We'll be able to keep an eye on the gases here. Second pylon. Pylon. Who makes pylon? Second depot on the way. I don't think Beacon Gaming has seen a TVT yet. You know, that might... Oh, I don't know if that's true. That might be true. I'm gonna have to look into our archives to make sure that that's not true. But that's a hilarious comment. Missing Nin. All right, the Reaper expand. Technically, a Reaper expand. Even if the Reaper is after the expand, is gonna get a scout on here. He's gonna see only one gas. However, if he does click on that gas, he's gonna see that gas was made a while ago. Natural up here, and both these players not sure exactly what they want to do, as we do see a factory going down. Following up here. Right now, a little bit of a standstill between both these players. I'm curious as to how on the edge they are, as this is a best of 1. And so we are seeing pretty macro-oriented openers from both these players. But you can still tell that they're playing safe nonetheless here. It looks like BOBALIFE, though, found enough information to tell him that he doesn't need that gas right away. He's going to use those drones on his mineral line. And for nothing else, he's going to get that economy rolling. I wouldn't be surprised to see a pretty fast third going on anytime soon. Link's checking out the map. Reaper seeing his pesky overlord taking all his gerbs. Another Ling over here along the map. I love Boba with these Lings. I love him. I love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. Second Reaper popped out. Checking the perimeter of his bases. And right now, that's really the army. If we look at the units tab, that's not it. That's not it. If we look at the units tab, we have 2 Reapers out right now for Anwis total. We have 6 Lings out total for our Zerg player. 7 overlords don't really count much for the army, but they do count for the scouting. These overlords are the scouting. Once these lings get some speed, which I feel like they're not going to get for a while here, as we are just now putting our drones back on gases here. We delayed that ling speed for a while to get this third hatch up relatively soon. Second extractor gonna finish up. Will we see a third Will we see a third command center? There it is, and it's on its way to saturate the main and the natural here. That's called a that's not a prox. That's not a macro hatch. That's a macro command center. All right, these lings. What are they up to? What are these critters up to here? 4. Count them, 5 Hellions moving across the map now in probably the most predictable fashion, tapping one of the towers, moving directly now towards the third, which makes me think that Anwis wants to take that third pretty soon here with a itty bitty bit of juking. He's gonna have a fine time taking out 6 lings. 6 lings versus 6 Hellions. You're not gonna have a good time. This creep spread, though, making its way across the map here, doing a fantastic job. As this third hatchery finishes, these rocks are going to need to go down because the quickest that we can connect all of these hatcheries with creep, everyone's going to feel a lot safer, including BOBALIFE. These aliens are more of a poke here, and I like this out of Anwis. We see the third command center on its way. Not too soon after the factory is the starport, but the starport is placed down a bit later as we get some more Raxes going down beforehand here. The poking of the Hellions continues as the creep spread continues, and isn't that part of the reason that we make these Hellions, is to take away some of the creep spread? Hopefully they've gotten a decent kill count when it comes to creep tumors. Ooh, where'd that... Oh, we had to use that scan for that something over here. What is going on here? Oh, this Overlord. I feel like we killed a Ling. It looks like we didn't kill Ling. I think he actually scouted the, or I think he actually scanned the main or the natural or the third. Let's look at his cam. He probably scanned the third and scanned the main a while ago here. That Overlord, even though it went down, oh so sadly, that Overlord is going to signify that the third is being taken there, which is an interesting note here. BOBALIFE convinced this third isn't going to be taken yet, and I feel like I've seen this third taken most commonly out of all thirds taken by any player. I feel like this is definitely the base that most players take it, and it has its advantages and disadvantages. Now what's nice is this third is actually quite close to this spot right here, which is a beautiful dropping position for any player. But we don't have any ventricle sacks down right now. BOBALIFE with a very typical Ling Roach composition here, and a lot of banelings going down here. Let's look at the money for this player. BOBALIFE using all of that gas on banelings, and I think BOBALIFE wants to take out this third. Anwis with a booming economy. I'm not sure what he's gonna. I'm not sure what Anwis is gonna be able to do against this. This is a lot of banelings. This is a lot of roaches. Our mech units haven't really been growing in a huge number here. With some kiting here, these Hellions are gonna be able to give away what's going on, and they're actually gonna be able to burn most of these banelings out of the situation here. Suddenly, we just have roaches to move forward here, and with the medevac support and a few well-placed tanks. Suddenly, this baneling roach composition doesn't seem to be like it's going to hold its weight in gold. It's not even going for the third. It's kind of in between, like it wants to go for the natural, it wants to go for the third. And all due respect, it wants to do something here, and with all 3 of these overseers, he is going to be able to get just about infinite vision of the high ground here. More tanks coming down, and this is a petty force to take out the third, and suddenly BOBALIFE putting a lot of its gas into this engagement. I feel like he's really not going to get that much from it here. Some Lings going down. Some Lings are able to venture into the natural and take out some of these workers. But this force isn't going to be. I don't think it's going to be able to take out the third completely here. These Lings moving on forward, gonna go directly for the tank and are gonna be able to take it out. Oh, it would be a pity if that tank went down. With the link support, it shouldn't be an issue here. And these, I think these Roaches are actually doing a lot more damage than I thought it could. They aren't actually able to quite shut down this third, but they are going to make the SCVs run for their lives. And this creep spread is looking fantastic. These rocks not looking so fantastic as they are about 1/3 health here. This creep spread, like, just look at the creep spread. It's gunning directly for this third. It's purely there to move all of the Zerg units as fast as they can to this third. This creep spread is not moving to the natural. It's not moving to the other parts of the base or to its own fourth. Speaking of fourth, we are seeing a pesky little medevac trying to put on some harassment here. If this medevac could get that spire, that'd be fantastic here. But all this creep spread is literally pointing to the third here. So we're gonna have to see how BOBALIFE wants to react to this harassment here on the third here. Fourth expansion not really saturated. We do have some mutas out on the map, and the second drop gonna be handled with those mutas. The Lings gonna have no problem in taking that out, and the spire is gonna be saved here. A few transfuses are gonna make sure that that spire can take a lot more firepower, a lot more shrapnel before it goes down. Oh, with all that microtasking, Anwis moving out across the map here to take care of some of this creep. All this creep. The moment that creep starts hitting your doorway is the moment you gotta start worrying about it. Alright, this is a very interesting TVZ. Right now the composition looking like Lings and Banelings for BOBALIFE One Day EG, which is a wonderful name for a clan. That is a wonderful name for a clan. If anyone approached me and said, "Would you like to be part of clan One Day EG?" I would say, "Why, I'd love to be with EG one day." So therefore, One Day EG doesn't sound like a bad idea. Look at all these creep terminals just queued up here. These mutas are going for a bit of a more direct approach at this time. They're not gonna, but we're literally seeing mutas and Lings versus tanks and marines. These marines, with the job of clearing out some of this creep spread, is gonna put them in a vulnerable place as they have to run out across the map, and with only 3 medevacs, these stims are gonna cost him a lot of energy. More and more medevacs hopefully coming over here. We just see a little drop here. Anwis doing a wonderful job with keeping these drops going. He's not just keeping one drop on the way. He's going to keep on prong dropping, prong attacking. As he does try to go for this watchtower, is going to have a sad ending to those Marines' lives. That's a letter I don't want to write in any time. The creep spread going down on the 4th. And right now, BOBALIFE, I think, is convinced that his opponent isn't on 4 bases, which is probably very nice to know. Is this going to be an all-in sort of speak? Is this just going to be just kind of one big attack that Anwis is going to do as he's able to completely saturate his third for a good amount of time? Or are we going to see his army moving over to the 4th, clear out that overlord, and give BOBALIFE the time, the wiggle room to move further and further down the tech tree? Look at all these Lings and Banelings here. Right now, I feel like BOBALIFE just has complete reign on the watchtowers. I feel like these watchtowers are just his. And Anwis having a real tough time keeping his watchtower his. It's like a typical sibling rivalry over here. You see some overlords going down. It's going to capsize the cap of BOBALIFE for temporarily though. But speaking of that, both these players just about at the same amount, 188 to 184, making Anwis not looking so bad here, as his Marines are in position to take minimal damage from that muta harassment. These mutas are going to be the bane of existence unless they all go down here. Those mutas not really built for one-on-one, for PvP action. Player versus player, that is. And This is going to be very interesting here. We still don't see a third. We still don't see a fourth going down for Anwis. This is pretty much everything Anwis has got. Anwis has chosen to move out when he was just about maxed out. Suddenly going down to 160 supply versus 100. BOBALIFE hitting those hatcheries, putting them in production, bringing them back up to 132 as we see 48 drones in production here. A lot of canceled banelings here. Anwis does have some momentum behind him. The question is this backup going to be enough to save any of these hatcheries? The fourth hatchery looking like it might be able to go down here. There's a lot of lings and banelings going down here. These banelings need to connect. If these banelings can't connect, these Marines are going to have a heyday against the Air Force of BOBALIFE. And the hatchery does go down here. These drones are safe, which does mean once that hatchery goes up, he will have saturation on that base. Oh no, the pesky drop going down in the main will hopefully take out at least a queen. More and more creep tumors. Look at how much Anwis has been able to push back this creep spread. This creep spread is looking mediocre at best, as it's only creeping about halfway of the map at the 22-minute mark. We're seeing Marines, we're seeing tanks, we're seeing a healthy production, we're seeing a healthy amount of medevacs going down here, and really, we don't see very many Zerg units here. 160 supply to 129. These overlords were the gas and the money and the larva of BOBALIFE. And the question is, will they be enough? It looks like it's enough to delay this attack here, as we still see no fourth base going down. Though the fourth command center is officially down, it looks like he's going for this one, but he doesn't quite yet know that there's attacks to this base. You got to kill this overlord, and you got to wait about 20 minutes before you can plop that command center down. BOBALIFE is going to be really happy to see that overlord die, because it means that he... What? Oh no! Oh no! No, say it ain't so! Oh, that was probably the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. That was probably the most brutal thing I've ever seen in my life. But BOBALIFE right now is going to be able to really pick what step he wants to do next. He can play a little bit more defensive, get his bases back up and running, which I assume he's going to do either way. And he can also be aggressive here. Fourth expansion trying to go down, waiting for that creep spread to go down. And right now, BOBALIFE, I feel like he knows that he has the leg room to sit back a little bit more than he has. But at the same time, these prong drops going out across the map. Anwis doing a fantastic job with just always having at least 2 medevacs out across the map and being aggressive with them. Sometimes paying off, sometimes not, but at the least, it's keeping his Zerg buddy ready and actually quite wary about the situation. This fourth expansion just now is being saturated, and we are seeing 188 supply to 146. But at the same time, we got to think about where is the supply? 74 drones, 12 mutas, 10 mutas. Whoa, this muta count is dropping as he's dealing with this harassment at his fourth hatchery. That might actually be the fifth hatchery. 5 banelings, not going to be too much. Only 1 ultralisk. 56 lings, 4 overlords going down now. What I love is that it looks like BOBALIFE wants to go into some higher tech. Oh man, Anwis just being so annoying, so consistent with this harassment here. Fortunately, that medevac doesn't go down. And suddenly, it looks like BOBALIFE doesn't have the control of his tower anymore. He can't take this. Three of these big guys, 3 Thors down on the ground here, and we're gearing up for a big engagement here. The tanks look like they're on time. Anwis getting the victory so fast, so furious from BOBALIFE. One day EG.